Mexico is claiming a breakthrough in its deadly fight against violence, announcing a 37% collapse in the national murder rate under President Claudia Sheinbaum. Daily killings have plunged from 87 to 55 in just 14 months. In a striking briefing, Security Chief Marcela Figueroa hails a sustained decline, but critics say the danger hasn't vanished. Mexico's government has reported a significant fall in the country's murder rate, saying the average number of daily killings per month has dropped by 37% since President Claudia Sheinbaum took office last year. New official figures released on December 9th show that in November, Mexico recorded an average of nearly 55 murders per day, down from almost 87 when Sheinbaum assumed the presidency in September last year. The data was presented by Marcela Figueroa Franco, head of the National Public Security System, during the president's daily news conference.
In this first chart, we can see the trend in the monthly daily average of intentional homicides from September 2024, meaning at the start of the administration, up to November 2025, the month that just ended. There is a 37% decrease in the daily average compared to September 2024. As the chart clearly shows, the last 14 months have shown a steady downward trend. President Claudia Sheinbaum's administration began with an average of 86.9 homicides per day nationwide, and in November 2025, this average fell to 54.7. In the next slide, we again show this 37% reduction in daily homicides. This drop is equivalent to 32 fewer intentional homicides per day compared to September 2024, confirming a significant decrease in violence.
Sheinbaum said the trend marked a major achievement, noting that last month saw the lowest number of murders recorded for any November in the past decade. She described the progress as very significant and credited her national security strategy for driving the apparent decline. Mexico has long struggled with violent cartel warfare and heavily militarized government operations targeting drug gangs. The country's murder rate surged in recent years, reaching a peak of 36,773 killings in 2020, according to national statistics. That rate was more than 4 times higher than that of the United States. Murders have since been gradually declining, falling to 33,550 last year. And Sheinbaum's administration says the current year has seen an even sharper drop. At a press conference in August, Sheinbaum emphasized the importance of her approach, saying there was clear strategy, monitoring, and municipality-by-municipality oversight. Her plan centers on strengthening the National Guard, improving intelligence and investigative capabilities, and enhancing coordination across government agencies. However, security analysts have warned that homicide data alone may offer a misleading picture of Mexico's security landscape. They argue that a reduction in murders does not necessarily reflect an overall improvement, particularly in light of rising disappearances. Cecilia Farfan Mendez, an expert on Mexican organized crime, called for cautious optimism, stressing that other indicators show worrying trends. According to public policy think tank Mexico Evalúa, murders fell by more than 20% in the first 10 months of this year compared with the same period last year. But forced disappearances increased by 15%, and in some states, the rise reached as high as 200%. Armando Vargas, a security expert at Mexico Evalúa, said homicide numbers were no longer reliable for assessing public insecurity. He pointed to limited capacity or willingness among police and prosecutors to properly identify and classify bodies, and to the ability of organized criminals to conceal violence through disappearances. Vargas also criticized the use of monthly averages of daily killings, arguing that such figures can obscure days with unusually high levels of violence. Where the government has demonstrated clear results is in arrests and seizures. Between October 2024 and November 2025, nearly 40,000 people were detained for high-impact crimes. authorities also seized more than 20,000 firearms and confiscated 311 tons of drugs. Vargas noted that President Sheinbaum's record on enforcement meant that Donald Trump cannot accuse President Sheinbaum of doing nothing, adding that the government's actions were very politically profitable. Despite these efforts, extreme violence persists across several regions. Last month, a popular mayor in the state of Michoacan was assassinated, one of 10 mayors murdered over the past year. Weeks later, thousands of young people marched in Mexico City and other cities, protesting against corruption and drug violence. Vargas said the federal government continues to present data in a way that supports its security narrative. While politically effective, he argued the portrayal remains socially questionable.